nowadays. Yeah, it seems like just yesterday. I could do this and that, but these days everything's automatic. You know, the other days we did things by hand. Now we've got machines doing them for us. If you were thinking about, if you had something, you write it on a piece of paper and then you stamp on it, and then you get there like 3 days later. You know. So there used to be a time when Nigerians didn't have to bother about the petrol price because what were we using it for? Like, you know, what do we really need petrol for? So there was a time when petrol price was never the problem of Nigerian, because they really literally did not have need for it. And at some point, it wasn't a problem for some people because they didn't really use it that much. All they needed was the kerosene to cook. If they were going anywhere, they didn't have to go far. You know, if they were going anywhere really, they could just walk down to wherever it is. So trekking was normal for them. But these days, we're all driving. We're all getting taxis. Because when we have to go to is far, even some people where they're going to do far, but they still have to enter taxi. There's get everywhere now. And then, the tricycles. You know. And so if you're going from here to there, you bought a tricycle. And then at some point it was 20 naira, 30 naira, 50 naira. And right before our eyes, it was turned to 100 naira. And as of today, in some routes, it's 150 naira. The same routes that they would normally collect 100 naira, they're not collecting 150 naira. Then I heard someone saying the other day, I'm going to tell the driver, very soon you will be looking for passengers you will not find. And I was like, people always enter motor now. She was like, they will start trekking. So we'll go back to trekking. People go trek up. They'll be like, where they go safe, not be there. The same distance that looked or seemed quite long or quite far, all of a sudden, it's going to look now, they will actually start trekking. Anyway, let's talk about the current petrol price and of course what expectations are. As the petrol issues keep lingering, you know, it's always coming up, and every now and then, if it's not scarcity we're dealing with, it's the high cost that we're dealing with. So what are your expectations really? So I'm going to bring out a couple of news items, you know, that relates to this conversation, and then I'll open the phones. This conversation is between you and I. My colleague Palada already had an economist, professor of political economy and development, earlier this morning on the Morning Crossfire, you know, talking about the petrol issue, you know, talking about fuel subsidies and all of that. And then during that conversation, Professor Aaron, you know, he said he would rather we had fuel subsidy reform instead of fuel subsidy removal. Let's address the issues that surround the whole fuel subsidy. One of the issues I remember the president talked about later on was the amount of corruption, or like people eating the money. He said, no, it's better we address the issues around this instead of just scrapping it just like that. Since there are so many other developed countries where there's a lot of investment in subsidies to support their citizens, they can't be, you know, continue to do that. So I'll just play the sound bites so that in case you didn't listen to the Morning Crossfire, you could hear part of what he said in the course of that show this morning, right?
There's nothing wrong with subsidy per se. I say this because subsidy is done by sensible governments globally. The US spends about $1.something trillion subsidizing transition, energy, and agriculture. We are told, and we knew that the whole idea of subsidy in Nigeria has been a scam, riddled with corruption and all of that. What anybody that meant well for this should have done was to look at the corruption in subsidy, the bloody holes, everything subsidy. If I were to advise the president, restore subsidy, but remove corruption therein. You know, I've been serious with fighting corruption. At the time, fighting corruption became highly politicized as a tool for political activism. In other words, if you want to join my party, you're declared free. The type of thing that show me the public. So you can't be fighting corruption that way. So if you really want to fight corruption, go headlong, fight corruption.
Well, that was the professor was on air earlier today. Meanwhile, the price of petrol jumped to about 1,000 naira per litre in some filling stations in Port Harcourt. Now, our correspondents, of course, went around to find out how much filling stations are selling their petrol, and discovered that many independent marketers closed down their filling stations yesterday. The fuel that sold to motorists, that was yesterday, they sold for between 720 naira and 800 naira. I heard someone talk about a filling station where they were selling about 690 naira or something, I can't remember. So I don't really know if it was true. Alright, but that's that. So today we still have some filling stations sell 800 naira, but there are also others who are selling at 1,000 naira. And you know what happens when the price or the pump price of petrol increases? Yeah, you and I know what happens. Yeah, every other thing, the price of transportation will increase. That will in itself affect the price of goods and services. And that's not just because people just want to increase. Although of course people also do that. You know, some people think the bought they're still on the shelf, and when they hear price has increased, they increase the price they already had on their shelf. I mean, it makes you wonder. Something that was 850 naira, you're looking at it and then just a few minutes, it's no longer the same price. Amazing. But then there's also that one where people have to go to the market to buy the same items, and then they get to spend much more on transportation to get the same items. And so they'll have to increase cost. Definitely. They will have to. And then I am thinking right now, the whole situation is affecting everybody. Should I say everybody? I really don't generalizing, but let me say most citizens, because there are some people, you won't believe it, there are some people that are unaffected. Some people saying I'm unavailable, some people are unaffected. Some people are unaffected by whatever is happening. Yeah. Right? So, what are your expectations following the petrol issues as they linger? Someone is calling for reform instead of subsidy removal. Some other persons are saying, if we have the, what are they called now, the refineries working, that would really change a lot. And I've heard some other people say, see, and we're the ones doing ourselves. If all of us just have a change of mindset, our greed is too much. If we tell ourselves that we'll just be kind, we'll be good people, just like that, just be good. We'll not try to make much more gain than we're supposed to on the items that we're selling or on the services that we provide. What are your expectations, really? What are you looking forward to? And I would also like to find out how much you bought petrol if you have gone out to buy today. Because yesterday we heard that the people that caused this whole issue, that they have called off their strike. And what was even the issue? They say, well, we lift the petrol from the depots to the filling stations. But no, it seems like nobody cares about us. We have trucks that need to be powered by diesel. And diesel price is not nice. It's expensive. So how do you expect to give you your petrol, whereas we are also suffering? So let all of us suffer together. If we don't have diesel at lower prices, then you will never get the petrol at all. So that's like one of the people who called. So one person calling yesterday was like, it's to reach everybody. I was like, is that what you want? Alright, what are your questions? That's basically what I'm asking. Alright, the phone lines are open. 087-923-0002. 0817-923-0002. And 0817